Hi, so I was asked to speak about my journey as a social worker. So I'll just give a brief overview. My journey started as a student of certificate in social work, which I did, I believe, about 3 years on a part-time as a part-time course. Then that journey took me to a university where I got my bachelor's in social work. That was basically 4 years, no, sorry, 3 years full time. And that was an experience by itself. My dream was always to attend this university, so I was very, very happy attending and doing social work. After my bachelor's degree, I got hired and I was hired in a ministerial position as a family social worker, where I believe I worked for about, I would say about 2 years. The client population age range from 0 all the way to 100 plus. So we dealt with everyone. Mainly, of course, keeping families together, the health of families, and so forth. That would have been the duties. After family social work, I moved on to school social work, where, of course, I was placed in a school. The population age was between 5 years and 12 years old. Those of you in the US will know it as certain grades, grade 1 to whatever, and those in the Caribbean will know it as standard or classes. Then I moved from school social work and I moved on to be a counselor. And I worked in a population of an educational population that dealt with vocational skills. The students were learning how to do welding and IT and different things along those lines. And I worked there for about approximately 5 years or so. I moved from there and then I became a guidance counselor. I wanted to get into the classroom because I noticed that I love teaching. So, guidance counselor with my degree of social work got me into that sort of academic teaching sort of qualification. I was dealing with high school children. It was an all boys school, and I always say it was one of my best places that I worked based on the fact that my population was absolutely awesome to work with. That was the young men. The ages would have been they came from primary school, from Form 1, there would be about 12, 11, 12, to all the way to about 18 years old, where they would move on to university degrees after high school, university or college. After that, where I am presently now, I'm a lecturer in social work, which I love, and I lecture in a community college. I have been doing lecturing for the past, this year is going to be about 7 years now. And I lecture associate degree students who are pursuing social work, as well as lecturing the bachelor degree students in social work. And in a nutshell, I said all that to say, to show you that having a degree in social work, if you remember my trend from family social worker all the way to a lecturer in social work, it shows you how you can become a lot of different, you can occupy, let me say, you can occupy different positions with your social work degree. So for me, it was wonderful working all those jobs. Now, being a social worker to me, I believe it's more of a calling. Some people might argue, but I find if you have the calling for it, it makes the job more satisfying because the job, your client population is a population that's in need, and that's why I think you would have chosen to do social work. You're probably one of those people who your friends used to say, you're so good at listening, or you're so good at giving advice, etc. And it is all of that and more, but the end result is you have to have a natural knack, a natural love for people, not just the people you know in your mix or in your circles, but a stranger. When if do you look at a movie, and in that movie do you feel for that stranger based on what they're going through, right? Um, or even hearing about someone that you don't know from someone else. How does that affect you? That will signify, you know, the effectiveness of helping someone, the genuineness, because anyone can spot someone who is not genuine, who does not is not doing the job because they so care about it, but maybe it's for whatever other reasons. Now, some people may have gone into social work to even self-heal. Many of us have been through different types of trauma, and if it's one thing I love about social work, you have the ability to learn the work not just to help someone on the outside, but the ability to learn the work to help yourself. Right? You have to excuse me, I have a cough, so I'm a little raspy. Anyhow, yes, you must have the ability to, I always tell my students, you start healing yourself before you go out there to heal anyone. Because we know the phrase, hurt people hurt people. So you need to heal from whatever. And we all have things that we have to heal from, one thing or the other. The first thing is to recognize what we have to heal from, because the danger is when you don't know. When you don't know that you need this healing, that's the problem, right? So I say all that to say social work is very rewarding career, and it's also very frustrating based on facts that most of your clients sometimes needs tangible things, and tangible things cost money. And many agencies may mean well, but the supply sometimes, and most times I would like to say, outweighs the demand. And that is where your frustration might come in, where you wish to get certain things for a client and it's not available due to limited supply. So all of these things you have to take into consideration, as well as, let me close off with this. You have to remember to, not every client comes back and tell you thanks. Sometimes you are just working, you're just doing what you were trained to do, and you don't hear from the client again, you don't see the client, and maybe years after you may run into the client and they say to you, do you remember me? I'm so and so. Thank you so much for whatever. And you may remember most of the times, because as a social worker, we do have a good ability to retain a lot of information. So once they provide you with an ample amount of information, it will come back to you. And then you say, oh yeah, right. And you may not have even thought that you were so impactful to that person. So if you are a person that you're looking for immediate satisfaction, ask yourself, what is that satisfaction? Why did you choose social work? Is it something that you really want to do? And are you okay with perhaps no thanks or a delayed thanks. So I'll stop right there. Thank you for listening.